Good afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well today. It's Wednesday, June 18th, and today I wanted to talk about a fun little story that I had recently and share my Bitcoin experience at Steak and Shake. So I'm sure most of you know by now, if you're in the Bitcoin world, that uh, last month Steak and Shake announced that they're going to accept Bitcoin for payment, which is awesome. And I thought about it a little bit and I said, why not? My family loves Steak and Shake and we love Bitcoin. So, you know, what better option than to go to Steak and Shake for a quick meal? And so we went and did that at our local Steak and Shake and paid. And the funny part is we were the first customers, and we probably went there 2 or 3 days after they launched the Bitcoin payment system. So they didn't have everything ready to go right away. They had to have a manager come over and put the Lightning address up for us to scan and send payment. But it only took a split second after that. But they were excited about it and kind of happy. So it was kind of cool to see. And since we were the first ones at our local spot, and we gave them some Bitcoin via Lightning, and they gave us some really good food. So it's a fun experience overall to pay in a different way. And after doing that, I thought about it for a little bit. It's been several weeks since that little experiment, and it was just kind of a flash and a fun day out for us and with the family. And so I started to think about that transaction more and more and more because I could see the Lightning transaction go out of my hot wallet. I could see how many sats we paid. And at the time we purchased, maybe 4 different cheeseburgers, a couple orders of fries, and 4 shakes, and it was about 37,000 sats, or about $36, somewhere around there, depending on the exchange rate of Bitcoin at that day or the USD price that day. So let's say it was about $36, and we paid about 37,000 sats for it. So that's cool. No big deal, seems about reasonable. Well, I started my Bitcoin journey back in 2020, late 2020, kind of when Michael Saylor was really coming onto the scene with MicroStrategy. That got me convicted into looking into it and becoming a speculator in Bitcoin. And now I'm a full-time hodler and really fully into Bitcoin now. So I come full circle on it. And just for fun, I dug into some of my earliest Bitcoin transactions that I had. And one of the first purchases I made in October 2020 was $4 worth of Bitcoin. I actually spent $5, but I bought it on Coinbase, and they have an extortion fee of 99 cents to $1 back then. So they were charging me 20% in transaction fees to buy Bitcoin. So I spent $1 went to Coinbase, and $4 went to Bitcoin. So it was a complete ripoff, but again, this was just to get started into Bitcoin. There's a lot of exchanges out there now that have way better fees than Coinbase, and I don't encourage you to use Coinbase at all. But in looking at the transaction, at that time, I purchased just over 30,000 Bitcoin, or 30,000 Satoshis, sorry, with that purchase. So another way to think about that is, in the past, 5 years ago, just under 5 years ago, I spent $4 to get 30,000 sats. And now that close to the same $30,000 in sats bought me close to $40 worth of food for my family. So I know I'm making kind of wide assumptions there because the exchange rates aren't exactly correct. I'm not doing all the math and all that. It's not really worth my time to go through all that. But in general, you could say I bought 30,000 sats for $4 back then. And if I went on and tried to buy 30,000 sats again today, I'd probably have to spend about, close to $40 to get that. And so, in a short amount of time, 5 years, I went from having $4 in USD of purchasing power to close to $40. So it's a 10x of my purchasing power in a short amount of time. So that was a small, insignificant, trivial amount of money. But you can very quickly see by that example how you could have a bigger, allocation to Bitcoin that will grow at a similar rate. If that would have been $4,000 or $40,000 or whatever amount of money, it would have grown at the same rate over that same period. So you can just imagine the amount of purchasing power that would be available to you or me or anybody else that's into Bitcoin at that point in time. So that lesson was really important. It was learned from a Quick Trick to Steak and Shake, and it taught me a lot about Bitcoin. And it really highlighted the fact that prices fall forever against Bitcoin and purchasing power increases against Bitcoin forever. And so it's not a straightforward linear path where every day it just gets easier, easier, and easier. There's volatility, ups and downs along the way, and you don't know what's going to happen one day to the next. There's a lot of things that impact the price of Bitcoin right now, but I just wanted to share that example because it was pretty amazing in my mind. And if you haven't, gone and paid for something in Bitcoin yet, you definitely should. And just have that experience paying over Lightning, or, you could do an on-chain transaction technically too to somebody, but it's really fun to pay entirely independent of a bank and kind of a third-party custodian. So anyway, I just wanted to share that example, and I'll see you in the next one.